60% of people surveyed prefer no nuts. 40% of people surveyed prefer nuts. Oh, by the way, today is December 8th, National Brownie Day. Brownies are a personal favorite of mine, so I'm definitely going to be celebrating today with everyone. The proper formal name for a brownie is actually chocolate brownie. Most people just say brownie and you know what they're talking about immediately, but you do have to be careful because you also have, along with the brownie, chocolate brownie, you have the blondie, which is just a brownie, but it's made without brown sugar instead of chocolate. Those are pretty good too. I'll eat those, but I'll prefer the regular traditional chocolate brownie. And today is not a specific day for a specific kind of brownie. It's brownies in general, celebrating brownies of all sorts, so I'll just be using the term brownie in today's episode. Nobody really knows where brownies came from. A couple theories out there, a couple wild theories. One of them is the most probable that people presume to be true. One theory says that a chef accidentally added melted chocolate into their biscuit dough and brownies were created. That one seems a little bit plausible to me. The most popular one, but still unverified theory, says that a housewife didn't have baking powder and she improvised with this new recipe. Said she was baking for guests and she decided to service these flattened them. That one, again, accidental. Brownies, no matter what theory you believe, what theory you look at, brownies are believed to have been created accidentally at some point in history. It was in 1899 that the first known recipe was published in the Machias cookbook. They were called Brownies Food in that cookbook. You can look it up yourself if you can find a copy of it. It's on page 23 in the cake section. And the lady credited with the recipe for Brownies Food was a lady named Marie Kelly, and she was from Whitewater, Wisconsin. And really wasn't anything crazy. Brownies right now are actually a very simple recipe. Kind of simplified itself to this. It's just butter, sugar, chocolate, eggs, flour. That's it. That's your traditional brownie recipe. Somewhere along the line, though, some crazy person decided to add walnuts to their brownie batter. I don't know what they were thinking. It's almost always walnuts that people put in their brownies. In my opinion, it completely ruins the brownie. Some people are going to disagree. 40% of people will disagree with me, but I can strongly say that I'm in the 60% no nuts category with my brownie. That's going to bring us to our by the way fact, and it's something I do quite often when I have an episode with food, and that is, what would your guess be as to what the largest brownie ever made was? Pause the podcast, get your guests in. I'm going to let you know here right now that it was in September 2022, so it was just a little bit earlier this year, and it was in Saudi Arabia. It was a 335-pound brownie. It was made out of 210 packs of Betty Crocker brownie mix and 504 eggs. It was baked in an industrial oven, and it took 3 hours to bake this behemoth of a brownie. I say behemoth because it was a traditional square like brownies usually are when you cut them in your pan. It had a size of 6.5 feet wide, 6.5 feet long, and it was 1 inch thick. So, very large brownie. I was out there wasting my time jetting around the country on a road trip during this time for 2 weeks. These people were out here doing something, making the largest brownie in the world. Congratulations to the people that made that. So, how are we celebrating Brownie Day today? Probably the only way we can, and that's making and eating brownies, of course. You can take the easy route, get a box mix from the store. That's a popular route that people take. There's been, in 2020, I found a statistic that said there were 168 million people that made brownies from a box mix. Hopefully none of them made a box mix with walnuts, but I'm sure some crazy person out there did. And you can also just simply make the recipe at home. You've probably got all of these ingredients in your kitchen anyway. Remember that simple ingredient list that I showed you before. You can go online, find any recipe or a how-to page with a brownie recipe and just go to work. It's really not that difficult, pretty simple. And again, since we're talking about all sorts of brownies, if a chocolate brownie isn't your thing, you can make a blondie. It's just simply keeping out the chocolate and adding brown sugar, and you're good to go. So that's our day today, National Brownie Day. You can go to our website, bythewaytodayis.com. You can listen to older episodes, follow, rate, and subscribe to the podcast there. And come back tomorrow, and we'll have a new day that we can celebrate together. Talk to you then. If you enjoy By the Way Today Is, please be sure to follow, rate, and subscribe to this podcast. If you have a holiday that you'd like to have talked about, please email it to btwtodayis@gmail.com.